Hey everyone, every week a cloud agent automatically queries my production database, generates a community digest for my site, and then it opens up a pull request automatically for me to review. But then I don't even need to review it because a second agent automatically validates the pull request, checks the build, checks every link, and the best part is I didn't even need to trigger any of this. This just runs on its own. And this is all thanks and made possible because of OZ, a really unique orchestration platform for cloud agents by the creators of Warp. Right now, most people are running one agent at a time on their computer. They're sending commands into Claude Code, Cursor, or Codex, and that's great. You can get quite a lot done doing it this way. Some of you are even taking it further, running 2, 3, 4 agents on a single machine, but you are still the bottleneck. You need to kick off every run by yourself. You need to give it instructions each time. You're basically babysitting these agents instead of focusing on shipping your product and letting them work autonomously. Now, you might say cloud agents are new. Codex has one, Claude also has one, but if you actually work with them, you realize that they're essentially a cloud version of your branch. They spin up the code in isolation, they hand you back a diff, and that's it. You can't add schedules to them, you can't change them together, and you can't hook them together in your workflow, at least not easily. OZ is different. These are not just coding agents. They can help you with every aspect of your development, whether it's writing, PR reviews, data analysis. They can be triggered, they can be scheduled, they can be composed, they can call one another. And the best part is that they leverage the existing agent skills that you have as part of your code repository. So in today's video, I'll be showing you how I make use of OZ and a bunch of cloud agents that just does all of these things automatically for me. And so if you want to try this out for yourself, you can try Warp Build today. And the link is in the description below, and there's an extra 1,000 OZ credits so that you can go ahead and play around and get this working for you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into today's video and show you how I got all this set up. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what One Vibe a Month is. It's a community website that I created where I encourage people to basically make 2026 the year you just learn to vibe code, and then you go ahead and you post about it and you share it with other people in the community. This has been running for 3 months now. So we're in the month of February and we've already had a lot of submissions that are really cool. So let's just take a look at what happened in January. We had a Bomberman game, we had a focus tracker, we had a bunch of other games that have been created by other people. And even in February itself, we're about 10 days in and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 submissions, which is really cool. If I go to my profile, you'll be able to see the streaks that you've had. So I've had 2 submissions in December, 4 submissions in January. You get a bunch of both lifetime badges as well as monthly badges. And the idea here is that we basically just encourage one another to keep shipping, keep vibe coding, and to do this together. All right, so that's a quick overview of One Vibe a Month. It's completely free to participate. We've already got 70 builders and 31 submissions over the past 3 months, and it's continuing to grow. So if you want to stay motivated, learn from the others, and just have a bit of fun, One Vibe a Month is the place for you. Okay, all right, but what are we trying to achieve here? So because we have so many submissions coming in day after day, week after week, what I really wanted to do was to have something called a weekly digest, where it effectively looks through everything that has shipped in the previous week, and then it gives a nice overview, sort of like a newsletter update, highlighting all of the different submissions, giving a snapshot of the leaderboard, and then having some commentary at the end. And you will see here that this thing is entirely AI generated. In fact, this digest was created entirely by an OZ cloud agent. I'm using something called Convex DB for my database. Everything that you see here in terms of the submissions are stored in this database. You can see all of the different app submissions over here. You can see all the comments that people have made, and you can see each month and all of the different users that we have over here. So this means that all of the data is already stored in a database, and all this needs to do is look through the database, understand what has been submitted in the past week, query the information, and output all of this information for me, and I need this to run on a schedule. There are many ways that you could go about doing this, but because of OZ, this is extremely simple, and I will show you exactly how I was able to build this, and all it took for me to be able to get to this stage was just 3 files, all right? And thanks to OZ Cloud Agents, this entire thing runs automatically. I don't have to do anything anymore. It will be able to fetch whatever it needs from the database every week. It'll do a really nice summary. It'll add a little bit of quirks, and because it's an agent and connected to an LLM, this means that it's not just some templated thing. It's going to have some personality as well. So for example, it says another week, another batch of builders who refuse to let their side projects collect dust. Okay, one of them literally tracks dust. More on that below. And you will see that this is something by one of our users called Francis Panoff, where a passive-aggressive task tracker that doesn't remind you to do things, it just silently judges you as your to-dos decay in front of your eyes. And that's really cool, right? And look at the end. It says, what a way to kick off February, 9 submissions in the first week alone. That's some serious persistence. See what we did there? And the reason why it's doing this is because the theme of the February challenge is actually persistence. So it has a lot of personality, and this is all thanks to the fact that this is entirely run using agents in the cloud and connected to an LLM. And this, my friends, is exactly why you really want to check out Oz if you're considering doing something like this. Let me just show you what happens when Oz is running one of these things. This is my Oz dashboard, and don't worry, I'll show you how to set everything up very shortly, but I wanted to point out to you what is going on behind the hood. So if you hop over to runs over here, you will see that this is Oz running multiple agents in the cloud. Some of them are running on a schedule, some of them are running ad hoc, and some of them are actually running based on actions that other cloud agents are taking. So let me explain to you what's happening here. You can see over here, it says generate weekly digest for February, and you will see that this is done. And you can read the message over here. It says successfully generated the weekly digest for the first week of February 2026. All right, this is a little bit small and hard to see. So you know what? Let's click on view session over here. And when this loads up, here you go. You will get this familiar warp interface where you will be able to see the entire trace of what went on in order for it to generate the digest. So you can see here, the agent has gone ahead and used a weekly digest skill, and more on this later. It will generate a weekly community digest for 1 vibe a month. And the skill lays out all the endpoints that it needs to reach to get all the information that it needs. And then it just goes ahead and does everything within this environment, and it will create a branch. And if you actually look over here, Oz has automatically created the pull request for you to be able to review. And if you look over here, this is the pull request. It's very nicely formatted, exactly what the weekly digest is going to have. It shows you all of the submissions that will be featured, and you can go in and you can see the actual commit that was done. And this is the markdown file that corresponds to what rendered over here. That's not all. And because I'm connected to Vercel, I was able to jump into a preview deployment of this, and then I was able to get to this view that you saw over here. Now that's really cool, but remember when I said that Oz is all about multiple agents working together in the cloud. If I jump back into the dashboard over here, you can see after one of the agents in the cloud did this generate weekly digest, another agent kicked off something called validate PR, build and URLs. And once again, we can jump into the session here to see what exactly happened. So when this opens up over here, you can see what it does is that it loads up a second agent skill, which is a pull request validation agent. And then it automatically knows which pull request has been opened. And then it does its validation based on a bunch of rules, all right, where you will check out PR, install dependencies, find all changes, and then post a summary with build status and link check results. You will see that it does a PR validation, okay? It found a bunch of linting errors automatically for you, which you can then go ahead and fix. And then it does a bunch of link validations just to make sure that any of the links that were mentioned in the pull request do actually exist. Now, this is really cool because you can see how all of these cloud agents are automatically just working with each other without me having to lift a finger. This is all automated based on the rules that I've constructed. Now, I actually have an automated content generator that will help me to put these digests out. And I also have automatic agents working in the cloud that will verify that any pull requests that were done by that other agent is going to be validated and is going to work correctly as well. So this is a really powerful workflow. And I just want to say that for you to do something like this, usually would take quite a bit of steps because you have to deal with the agent definitions, you would have to deal with the orchestration, you have to deal with the deployment and all of that stuff. But thanks to Oz, this is all super simple. In fact, it's so simple that all you need are just 3 files, right? And the 3 files that you need are 2 skills and 1 GitHub workflow. And I'll be going through each of these step by step, and I'll even show you how you can go ahead and create your own specific skills and your workflows that will be tailored for your code base. All right, so without further ado, let me just jump into how each of these skills and how each of these workflows work. Now, one of the best things about Oz is that it really piggybacks off existing standards. In this case, it uses agent skills right out of the box. So for those of you who are using Claude or Codex or Cursor, you will be very familiar with this. So you can see here, right? It just uses the exact skills definition that you would be able to do if you wanted, if you said PR validator here, or if you did weekly digest over here. It just uses the exact same skills, but automatically picks it up and knows how to orchestrate it in the cloud to use those skills and apply it to your code base without you having to do anything else extra. All right, so this first skill here is the weekly digest skill. All right, it just generates a weekly community digest. It fetches data from the Convex HTTP API, creates a markdown file with the leaderboards and stats, and then commits to a branch and opens a PR. And you can see all of this is simply a list of steps in Markdown, right? It's not even 200 lines of code. And it's something that you can easily generate using Codex with GPT or using Cursor or any of your favorite byte coding tools. And as I mentioned, I've also released for free an OS skill creator to help you build these kind of skills for your code base that will help to ensure that it works seamlessly with OS. I'm just going to do Markdown preview because it's a bit easier. I just set a writing style that I want, right? And then I list the steps that it needs to use. It fetches the data using the API, and then it filters for recent submissions. And then it generates the Markdown digest based on a template that I like. And then I ask it to create a branch, commit, push, and open a PR. And then I put a bunch of notes so that it adheres to that. And that's pretty much it. This is just the agent skill that you define. Not even 200 lines of code. You can use your favorite AI tool to generate this. And it's just a series of instructions, and OS automatically knows how to go about using this skill and apply it to your code base. In this case, it creates a weekly digest for me. Now let's take a look at the second skill, which is the PR validator skill. All right, so it just validates the pull request. So step 1, checks out the PR number, and you can use wildcards like this, and then install dependencies. It validates URLs by looking at files that have been changed, and then doing a bunch of curl tests, and then it posts the results as a PR comment, and you add some notes. So that's it, right? Just 2 skills. This is just using an open standard, and OS automatically knows how to make use of this. And I'll show you very quickly here. If I wanted to kick this off manually, let me just show you how this works. So if you go into new run, okay, and then I'm going to click on agent over here, it has picked up all the skills that I have as part of my repository automatically. But the one we want is the weekly digest, which I'm going to click over here. And then you can see that it's gotten the prompt from the skill.md. So this is really great. You don't have to do anything extra. Now I'm going to do an additional prompt here. And this is a really cool thing because sometimes you want to do something that's ad hoc. You might want to test this skill and you don't want it to run for the previous week. You want to just adjust it slightly. So I'm going to show you how it works here and why this is so useful. So here I'm going to say, rather than doing this for the past week, do this for the entire month of January that just passed. All right. And the environment that you can have over here, I'm going to use the environment that I created earlier. And then I'm just going to click warp hosted and I'm going to click run. And while this is running, let me just show you how I set up the environment for this to run. Now, there are many ways that you can do this, but the easiest way is to just go to the dashboard, go into environments, and then you can see that I have 2 environments that I've been testing with. All the environment really needs is that if you go to new environment, you can call it my test 1 vibe a month environment for YouTube. Okay, and then I'm going to say this is just for my video. And then this is where you connect it to your GitHub repository. And it's just a standard way of connecting to it. If you open this up, you can just click on your GitHub. And then when you go in, you can just go down and you can do all repositories. But I usually like to select specific repositories whenever I'm granting access to this. Okay. And then once that repository has been connected, it will ask you for a Docker image. You can click on suggest over here, or you can check out this repository. I've linked it in the description below where it lists all of the different environments that you might want to use that have different dependencies already pre-installed. There's dev-based one's the one I like to use, but you can do something for Go, Rust, .NET, Ruby, and you can have the full environment as well. So that's how you create an environment. Very simple. You should be very familiar with it if you use any cloud agent tools, but this actually makes it super simple. So you just do that and you've got an environment. And that's what it will run against. And this is entirely isolated. All right, let's jump back here. You can see generate monthly coding challenge digest. I'm going to click on this and you can see this is running. And I really love how everything is just so integrated. All right, you can actually copy this session link here. If you're working with teams, you can just share that link and they would be able to connect to the exact same session that is running. And you can see this is live running right now. OS is still going ahead with the agents within the warp terminal, and it's continuing to do everything it needs to do to generate the weekly digest. And I really like the fact that everything is just so well integrated. If you click on open in warp over here, this will open everything up within your warp app. You can see this is completely synced up with everything that is going on in the cloud. And in fact, it's just completed now. It's generated the monthly coding digest. It's created it in a branch, and then it's opened a pull request as per the skill. So I'm going to open this up now. Okay, and there you go. You can see the January 2026 monthly digest. And it's really cool, right? Because of the fact that it's an agent, it's connected to an LLM. It says the highlights are that there's a games galore, wild experiments, international reach, and mobile first. All right, and because this is already connected to Vercel, I can just straight away preview it. And let's just jump into it. And I'm just going to scroll down and click on digest. And I'm going to see January 2026 full month recap. And click on this and you can see 2026 kicked off with the inaugural 1 vibe a month challenge dropped, and builders everywhere answered the call to level up their skills. All right, level up was the theme for January. And like I said, because it's an LLM, because it's an AI, it's able to have a bit of personality as well. All right, you can see what shipped this month: Pocket Bomberman by yours truly, Track Focus, Hacks Tactics, MacroPulse.ai, and lots of other stuff. And you can see the leaderboard. So I was leading in January, and you can see a total number of builders, number of apps shipped, and you can have this end note, right? 2026 is just the beginning, 13 projects shipped from mobile games to autonomous AI companies. And then February's challenge is live now, whether you're leveling up with skills. Let's keep building. And this was automatically generated by an Oz Cloud agent. Okay. All right. So this is done, but let's jump back, because remember that while this is happening, you can see that, hey, Oz has now kicked off a run automatically. You can see this Oz PR validator is running right now because of this GitHub action over here. All right, so let's jump back into the dashboard here. You can see this was the one that we're just looking at that just completed, generate monthly coding digest for January. And it automatically kicked off this second agent here to validate all of the pull requests, URLs, and build status. So just let me jump back into VS Code to show you how this was done. So remember that we had this PR skill over here. Now you might be thinking, like, how did Oz know to do this? And this is where the second set of files come into play. So it makes use of GitHub Actions, which is GitHub's continuous integrations language and system that allows things to happen whenever you do things within GitHub. Okay, so let's now jump into the Oz PR validator. And you can see this is a GitHub action that triggers an Oz Cloud agent automatically whenever a pull request is open. If you know about GitHub Actions, this should be very familiar with you. But all it does is that the Oz orchestration uses what's Oz agent actions, and then it passes in a prompt and say, you are a PR validation agent. A pull request has been opened, and these are all the information that it needs. And then it will run the PR validation skill, which we have defined over here. All right. And then it does everything that we need it to do. And if you are interested in creating more of these kind of triggers that are all specific, there are two ways. You can head over to this repository by Warp. They have lots of examples of how you can connect GitHub Actions with Oz agents to do a bunch of different things. Alternatively, you can use the Oz agent action skill builder that I've created that helps you build these kinds of actions for you. All right, so let's jump back into our listen has completed. You can open up the session over here, or if you prefer, you can click on that and it will open up in Warp as well. And I really like how you can just switch between whether you want to put in the browser or within the terminal. This seamless ability to jump between the Warp app and the browser just makes this entire thing feel very easy to use. It says that the task has been completed. So let's just swing through this. You can see use the skill. And then it goes into the repository, installs the dependencies, does a bunch of tests, and then it says the comment has been posted successfully. Let me clean up and finish the task. And now the PR validation is completed. Okay, so if you just jump back into GitHub and click over here and continue where we left off, you can see that it actually caught a missing environment variable. All right, so it's expected behavior because I haven't set this in this testing environment, but that doesn't matter. It was able to do the checkout. It was able to check the files change and extract all the different URLs as part of this. Now, this is great because this is like an entire workflow. Having multiple cloud agents run autonomously, triggered by events that happen, means that you can spend more time building cool stuff while these are all running in the background for you. So let me just show you how easy it is to set up a schedule over here as well. If you go back into your dashboard and you go down to schedules, all right, you just do a new schedule. And I'm going to say 1 vibe a month weekly digest. All right. And then I'm going to switch over to my weekly digest agent. All right. And then I'm going to select my environment, which is this one. All right. And the good thing here is that you can also choose whatever model you want to use. You can use the latest Opus 4.6 or Opus 4.6 Max, which gives you the additional 1 million tokens, or you can use GLM, you can use Gemini, and you can use LGBT Codex as well. Okay. So I'm just going to use whatever model you want here, and you can set it to any interval you want to run it, every 15 minutes, every hour, daily, but I'm going to do it. I want this to run every week, every Monday at 9 a.m. UTC. So it always looks back at what happened over the weekend. So I just create a schedule. Okay. And this is done. And this is so simple. You didn't have to worry about cron jobs or setting up your functions and things like that. This all just works right off the box. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I think Oz here is on a different level in terms of what it's able to do. I really love how everything is just integrated. There's so many other features that I haven't even covered. You can integrate it with things like Slack or Linear. You can run things ad hoc. You can allow things to run on a schedule. You can make things run one after another automatically. And it just works everywhere, right? You can just do it in your terminal. You can do it in the Warp app, and you can use it on the web. And it's just super easy to get started. Once you've got the skills and triggers set up, all you need to do is just point it at a different task. So try OZ out for yourself. Get Warp built today and an extra 1,000 OZ credits. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you'll always be the first to know when new content like this drops. And if you haven't seen my previous video where I show you how Warp works as an agentic operating system for your development, you might want to check out this other video right over here. All right, till next time, I'll see ya.